Maya stood at the edge of her new forest land with her hands on her hips and her jaw tight. The air smelled like pine and wet soil. The trees were tall and close together, like a wall that could hide anything. She had dreamed about owning land for years, but now that she was here, the dream felt heavy. She had spent all her money on this place. There was no going back. She was not rich. She was not lucky. She was just tired of renting tiny rooms and watching her savings vanish. For 10 years she worked double shifts, skipped trips, and said no to small joys. She told herself it was for a better life. This land was supposed to be that better life. The seller had been quick and quiet. The papers were clean. The deal moved fast. The listing said it was simple forest land with an old rail line crossing through it. That rail line made the land cheaper, and Maya did not care. She liked the idea of quiet and distance. She wanted a place where no one could knock on her door and ask for more than she could give. She parked her old truck on a patch of dry ground near the trees. The truck made a small clicking sound as it cooled. Maya took a deep breath and grabbed her backpack, a water bottle, and a small flashlight. She also brought a notebook, because she liked writing down plans. It helped her feel in control. The first walk into the land felt like stepping into another world. The city noise was gone. There were no horns and no sirens. There was only wind, birds, and the soft sound of leaves. The sunlight came through in thin lines, like bright threads. Maya tried to relax, but her mind kept counting money, bills, and mistakes. She followed the old rail line for a while. The tracks were rusty but still there. Weeds grew between the metal lines and wrapped around broken wooden ties. In some places, the ground had risen so high that the tracks looked half buried. The rail line felt like a scar running through the forest. Maya stopped and looked around. She saw no houses, no fences, no people. That was what she wanted, but it also made her feel small. She reminded herself that she was safe. She reminded herself that she chose this. She walked deeper. The air got cooler. The trees got thicker. Her boots pressed into soft ground that held rain from last week. She noticed old marks on some tree trunks, like cuts made by tools long ago. Some were faded, some were fresh enough to stand out. That made her pause. Fresh marks meant someone had been here. Maya told herself it could be hikers, or hunters, or people passing through. Forest land was never truly empty. Still, she felt a small pinch of worry. She kept walking, but slower now, listening harder. After nearly an hour, she saw something that did not belong. It was not a cabin. It was not a shed. It was an old railcar. It sat off to the side of the tracks, tilted slightly, like it had been pushed and left to rot. Rust covered the metal skin. Vines clung to the sides like fingers. Tall grass hid the wheels. One corner had sunk into the ground, as if the forest was slowly swallowing it. Maya stopped. Her throat went dry. The listing never mentioned a railcar. For a moment she just stared. The sight felt unreal, like a scene from a story someone else wrote. She took a few steps closer, then stopped again. Her heart beat faster, and she did not like the reason. This was not the normal kind of abandoned object. It looked cared for in a strange way. The vines were thick, but the area around the door looked less overgrown, like feet had walked there. Maya moved closer and studied the door. It was closed. The handle was old but not broken. Near the handle, scratched into the metal, was a symbol she did not recognize. It was small, but clear. Not random. Not a child's drawing. It looked like a mark that meant something to someone. Maya swallowed and set her backpack down. She told herself she should leave and come back later with someone else. But she had no one to call. Her friends lived far away. Her family thought she was making a mistake. She was alone with a decision. She put her hand on the handle. The metal was cold. She pulled. The door gave a loud creak that echoed through the trees. It opened just enough to make a narrow gap. A stale smell came out, like old wood, dust, and time. Maya hesitated, then pulled again until the door slid wider. Light slipped into the railcar and showed shapes inside. Maya raised her flashlight and clicked it on. The beam moved slowly across the interior. Wooden crates. Many crates. They were stacked neatly along the walls. Not thrown in. Not broken. Neat stacks, like someone arranged them with care. Some crates had faded labels. Others had numbers written in thick black marker. One crate had a date written on it that made Maya blink twice. The date was old, but the writing looked newer than it should. She stepped inside. Her boots made a hollow sound on the metal floor. The air felt colder here. The railcar was silent in a way that made her want to whisper, even though she was alone. Near the middle, there was a fold-out table attached to the wall. On the table were plastic-wrapped papers, stacked in a tight pile. The plastic was sealed carefully, like someone tried to protect the papers from water and insects. Maya stared at the stack and felt a tight knot form in her stomach. She reached for the top bundle with slow hands. Her fingers shook a little. She held the papers up to the flashlight. The first page was not a letter. It was a list. Rows of names. Rows of numbers. Lines of places. Some of the places looked like towns and road names. Some looked like codes. Maya did not understand most of it, but she understood enough to feel fear. This was not someone's old homework. This was not a forgotten diary. This was something organized. Something hidden. She turned another page. It had symbols and short notes. It looked like someone tracked things over time. It looked like planning. Maya's breathing got shallow. She put the papers back down, but her hands stayed over them, like she could not let go of the moment. The railcar felt smaller now, like the walls were leaning in. The forest outside felt farther away. She stepped back and looked at the crates again. She wanted to open one, but she also did not. Curiosity pulled her forward, but fear pulled harder. Maya backed out of the railcar and stood outside in the sunlight. The fresh air hit her face, and she took a deep breath like she had been underwater. She looked around the trees, half expecting to see someone watching her. No one was there. But the feeling did not leave. She stared at the open railcar door. Her mind raced. She thought about calling the local police, but she did not know if this was bigger than that. She thought about the symbol scratched near the handle. She thought about the careful plastic wrapping. She thought about the neat stacks. Nothing about this felt like a simple abandoned railcar. Maya picked up her backpack and stepped away from the railcar. She did not close the door. She did not want to touch anything more. She walked back toward her truck, faster than before, checking behind her more than once. When she reached the truck, her hands were shaking. She sat in the driver's seat and locked the doors even though she knew a lock would not mean much out here. She took out her phone. There was a weak signal, but it was enough. Maya stared at the screen for a long moment. Then she searched for the nearest FBI field office number. Her finger hovered over the call button. She did not know what she had found, but she knew it was not meant for her. She knew it was not meant to be found at all. And now, because she bought this land, it was her problem too. Maya did not press the call button right away. She sat in the truck with both hands on the steering wheel and stared at the forest ahead. The trees looked the same as before, but the feeling was different. The land no longer felt like a dream or a risk. It felt like a secret that did not want her there. Her phone buzzed once as the signal shifted. That small sound made her jump. She took a slow breath and reminded herself to stay calm. Panic would not help her think. She needed to be clear and careful. Maya stepped out of the truck and looked back toward the railcar. It was hidden again by trees and distance, but she could still feel it, like a weight pulling at her chest. She locked the truck and moved a few steps away, choosing a spot where she could see the road and hear if anyone came near. She finally pressed the call button. The call connected after a short pause. A calm voice answered. Maya explained who she was and where she was. She spoke slowly, choosing her words with care. She said she owned forest land and found an old railcar that was not listed in the sale. She said there were crates and papers inside. She said the papers looked organized and hidden on purpose. The voice on the phone did not interrupt her. When Maya finished, there was a short silence. Then the voice asked simple questions. Where exactly was the land? How long ago did she buy it? Had anyone else been there with her? Had she touched anything inside? Maya answered honestly. She said she only opened the door and looked. She said she did not open any crates. She said she left everything where it was. The voice told her she did the right thing by calling. It told her to stay away from the railcar and not to share what she found with anyone else. It told her that someone would contact her soon. The call ended. Maya looked at her phone for a long moment. Her hands felt cold even though the air was warm. She sat back in the truck and waited. Time moved slowly. Every sound felt louder. A bird landing in a nearby tree made her tense. The wind brushing leaves together sounded like whispers. She kept checking her phone, but there were no new messages. After what felt like hours, but was probably less than one, a car appeared on the dirt road. It was not marked. Just a dark sedan moving carefully over uneven ground. It stopped a short distance from Maya's truck. Two people stepped out. A man and a woman. They did not rush. They walked with calm steps, like they had done this many times before. The woman raised a hand in greeting. Maya stepped out of her truck and met them halfway. She kept her hands visible, not because she was told to, but because it felt right. The woman introduced herself as Agent Lewis. The man introduced himself as Agent Cole. Their voices were steady and polite. They asked Maya if she was safe and if anyone else was on the land. She said she was alone. They asked her to describe the railcar again. Maya did her best. She talked about the symbol near the door, the crates, the table, and the papers. As she spoke, she noticed how closely they listened. The way they exchanged quick looks told her that this was serious. Agent Lewis asked Maya to lead them to the railcar but to stay back once they reached it. Maya agreed. They walked together through the forest, following the same path Maya had taken earlier. The agents moved quietly, watching the ground and the trees. When the railcar came into view, both agents stopped. Agent Cole studied the outside from a distance. Agent Lewis took out a camera and began taking photos of the door, the symbol, and the ground around it. They asked Maya to stay behind them. She did. She felt a strange mix of relief and fear. Relief that she was not alone anymore. Fear because she now knew this was far bigger than she imagined. Agent Cole opened the railcar door slowly. The creak sounded louder this time. He stepped inside with care. Agent Lewis followed. They spoke in low voices that Maya could not hear. Maya stood outside and waited. She tried not to think about what was inside the crates. She tried not to imagine who put them there or why. The forest felt still, like it was holding its breath. After several minutes, the agents came back out. Their faces were calm, but their eyes looked sharp and focused. Agent Lewis told Maya that the railcar and everything inside it would be secured. She said Maya might be asked more questions later. She thanked Maya again for calling instead of ignoring what she found. Maya asked a question that had been sitting in her chest since the moment she saw the papers. Is my land safe? Agent Lewis paused before answering. She said there was no sign of immediate danger. She said the situation appeared to be old, but still important. She said Maya would be advised not to stay on the land for a few days. That answer did not fully calm Maya, but it was enough to breathe again. Later that evening, more vehicles arrived. This time they were marked. The area around the railcar was taped off. Equipment was set up quietly and quickly. Lights came on as the sun began to sink behind the trees. Maya was asked to give a full statement. She sat on the back of her truck and told her story again from the beginning. She talked about the sale, the walk, and the moment she opened the door. She tried to remember every detail, even small ones. As she spoke, she realized how close she had come to ignoring the railcar. She could have walked past it. She could have told herself it was none of her business. That thought made her feel uneasy. When she finished, Agent Cole told her she could leave for the night. They suggested she stay with a friend, or at a motel in the nearest town. Maya nodded. She did not argue. Before she left, she took one last look at her land. The forest was darker now. Lights from the vehicles made strange shadows between the trees. The place she hoped would be her quiet future now belonged to questions and unknown answers. Maya drove away with a tight feeling in her chest. She did not know what would happen next. She did not know if she would ever feel safe here again. But she knew one thing. Whatever was hidden in that railcar had waited a long time to be found. And it found her for a reason. Maya spent the night in a small motel in the nearest town. The room smelled like old soap and strong air freshener. The bed was clean but stiff. A thin curtain covered the window, and a buzzing light sat over the door like a tired insect. Maya lay on top of the blanket for a long time, still wearing her jeans, listening to cars pass on the road outside. She kept seeing the railcar in her mind. The rusty door. The strange symbol. The neat crates. The plastic-wrapped papers. The careful way everything was placed. It did not feel like a random hiding spot. It felt like someone planned it like a job. Maya tried to sleep, but her body stayed alert. Every small sound made her sit up. When she finally closed her eyes, she had short dreams that ended too fast. When morning came, she felt like she had not rested at all. She checked her phone. There was a missed call from a number she did not recognize and a short message asking her to call back. It was Agent Lewis. Maya sat on the edge of the bed and called right away. Agent Lewis answered quickly. Her tone was calm, but direct. She said they needed Maya to come to the local office for more questions. She also said Maya could bring any documents from the land purchase, like emails, messages, or the listing details. Maya agreed. She had those saved on her laptop. Maya ate a small breakfast from the motel lobby, a dry muffin and weak coffee. Her stomach was tight, so she did not finish. She packed her bag, checked out, and drove toward the office with the radio off. She did not want noise. She wanted to hear her own thoughts, even though they scared her. The local office was not large. It looked like a normal government building with simple windows and a plain entrance. A guard checked her name and guided her to a waiting room. After a few minutes, Agent Lewis came out and greeted her with a polite nod. Maya followed her into a small room with a table, 2 chairs, and a camera in the corner. Agent Cole was already there, sitting with a folder open in front of him. He offered Maya a bottle of water. She accepted and held it with both hands. Agent Lewis asked Maya to explain again how she found the railcar, but this time she asked for small details. Which direction Maya walked. How long she followed the tracks. What time it was when she opened the door. How the symbol looked. Where the table was placed inside. How many crates she saw. What the papers looked like. Maya answered as best as she could. Sometimes she paused and searched her memory like she was looking for an object in the dark. Agent Cole wrote notes. Agent Lewis watched Maya's face, not in a rude way, but like someone trained to notice what others miss. Then Agent Cole asked about the seller. What was the seller's name? Did Maya meet him in person? Did he seem nervous? Did he rush the sale? Did he say anything strange about the land? Did he mention the rail line? Maya told them the truth. She said the seller was a man named Ron. She said he spoke in a friendly way but did not say much. She said he pushed the sale forward fast. She said the paperwork was clean and the agent seemed normal. She said no one mentioned a rail car. Agent Lewis asked if Maya had seen any neighbors or nearby buildings. Maya said the land was mostly isolated, but there were a few old properties miles away. She had not met anyone yet. She had only been on the land for a short time. Agent Lewis nodded. She slid a photo across the table. It was a close-up of the symbol scratched near the railcar door. Maya's heart tightened. Seeing it clearly made it feel more real. "Do you remember it like this?" Agent Lewis asked. Maya nodded. "Yes." Agent Cole asked if Maya had ever seen that symbol before. "On a website. In a book. On a sign." Maya shook her head. "No." Agent Lewis took the photo back and placed it in the folder. She told Maya that the railcar was now under full control and that a team was working on the crates and papers. Maya wanted to ask what they found, but she could see they were not ready to share. Instead, Maya asked a different question. Why would someone hide things in a railcar in the middle of a forest? Agent Lewis held Maya's gaze for a moment. Then she spoke carefully. She said sometimes people choose places that look forgotten because it gives them time. She said sometimes people hide things where no one expects to find order. Agent Cole added that the railcar might not have always been so hidden. He said the forest could have grown thicker over time. The rail line could have been used long ago. The railcar could have been left and later used again by someone else. That idea made Maya feel colder. Someone could have come back. Someone could have visited the railcar while Maya was still living in the city, not knowing she would buy this land. After the interview, Agent Lewis walked Maya to the hallway. She told Maya she could go, but she needed to keep her phone close. Maya asked if she could return to the land to check her truck supplies and tools. Agent Lewis advised her not to go alone. She said the area was secured, but they were still learning what the railcar meant. Maya thanked her and stepped outside. The winter sun felt weak on her face. The town looked normal. People walked into stores. Cars moved through traffic lights. It felt strange that life continued as usual when Maya's world had changed so quickly. Maya drove to a nearby cafe and sat in a corner with her laptop. She opened her email and searched for everything connected to the land sale. She found the listing link, saved screenshots, and the messages from the agent. She found the contract and the wire transfer receipt. She made a folder and prepared to send it to the agents if asked. As she worked, she noticed something she had ignored before. In one message, the seller wrote a short line near the end. "The land has history. Treat it with respect." At the time, Maya thought it was just a dramatic line. Now it felt like a warning. Maya stared at the screen. Her mind played with the thought that the seller knew more than he admitted. Maybe he knew about the railcar. Maybe he wanted to get rid of the land quickly because he was afraid. Or maybe he was part of it. The ideas made Maya's stomach turn. Her phone buzzed again. This time it was Agent Cole. He asked Maya where she was. He said they needed her to come back for one more thing. Maya agreed and drove back. When she arrived, Agent Cole met her at the entrance. He did not take her to the interview room. Instead, he led her into a small office where a computer screen showed a map. The map had her land marked with a red outline. The rail line cut through it like a sharp line. Agent Cole pointed to an area near the far end of her property. He asked Maya if she had explored there yet. Maya said no. She had only walked along the tracks and back. Agent Cole nodded. He said their team found signs that someone had been using the railcar more recently than it looked. He said there were footprints and small items that did not match the old time period. Maya felt her chest tighten again. Agent Cole said they were going to search the rest of the land. He said it was possible the railcar was only one part of something bigger. He also said Maya might need to accept that she would not be able to live on the land for a while. Maya stared at the map. The land that was supposed to be her fresh start now looked like a puzzle with missing pieces. Agent Lewis entered the room and joined them. She told Maya they had identified some of the names on the papers. They matched older cases that were never fully solved. She did not give details. She only said the papers could connect different events across years. Maya sat down slowly. Her legs felt weak. "So it is real?" Maya whispered. Agent Lewis nodded. "Yes, it is real." Maya held her water bottle tightly. She wanted to cry, but she kept it inside. She wanted to scream, but she did not. Instead she asked the only question she could think of. What do I do now? Agent Lewis said Maya needed to focus on staying safe and staying honest. She said Maya would be protected as a witness if needed. She said Maya should not return to the land without permission. She said Maya should not talk to strangers about it. Not online. Not in town. Not even to people who felt friendly. Maya nodded, feeling like she was walking into a new life she never asked for. As she left the building again, Maya noticed a car across the street. It was parked and still. Its windows were dark. She could not see who was inside. When Maya started walking, the car did not move. But Maya still felt watched. She got into her truck and started the engine. The sound was louder than usual, like it was trying to protect her with noise. She drove away slowly, checking her mirrors. The forest land was miles away, but Maya could feel it pulling at her thoughts, like a hook. She had bought quiet. Instead, she bought a secret. And now the secret was awake. Maya stayed in the town for several days. The motel became her temporary home. Each morning she woke to the same sound of traffic and the same thin light coming through the curtain. Each night she checked the lock twice before sleeping. The days felt slow, but her thoughts moved fast. Agents checked in with her often. Sometimes it was a short call. Sometimes a longer meeting. They asked her to repeat details again and again. Maya understood why. Small details mattered. A direction. A time. A word in an email. A symbol scratched into metal. On the fourth day, Agent Lewis asked Maya to come in again. Her voice was calm, but there was a new weight in it. Maya packed her bag and drove to the office with a tight feeling in her chest. This time, the room was different. There was a larger table. More chairs. A screen on the wall showed images from the land. Photos of the railcar. Close views of the crates. Aerial shots of the forest from above. Agent Cole and Agent Lewis were there, along with another person named Agent Rivera. He spoke less, but his eyes stayed sharp and focused. Agent Lewis told Maya they had made progress. The papers from the railcar were being reviewed by specialists. Some names matched old records. Some locations pointed to places far from the forest. The railcar was part of a system, not a single act. Maya listened quietly. Each word felt heavy. Agent Cole explained that the land might have been used because of its isolation. The old rail line made it easy to move items long ago. When the line was abandoned, the railcar stayed. Over time, the forest hid it. That made it a perfect place for someone who wanted privacy. Agent Rivera added that the recent signs suggested someone returned to the railcar within the last year. Not often, but enough to leave traces. Footprints. Food wrappers. A small battery pack. Maya felt a chill run through her. That meant someone knew the railcar was there. Someone might know she found it. She asked if that person was identified. Agent Lewis said not yet. They were working on it. She reminded Maya that the area was secured and watched. Still, the words did not erase Maya's fear. Later that afternoon, Maya was allowed to return to the land with agents. Not to explore, but to collect personal items she left in the truck and to point out her walking path. She agreed, though her hands shook as she drove behind their vehicles. The forest looked the same as before, but it felt different. Tape marked certain areas. Small flags stood in the ground. People moved carefully between trees, taking notes and photos. Maya stayed close to Agent Lewis. When they reached the railcar, Maya stopped. She did not want to go near it again. She pointed from a distance and explained where she stood when she opened the door. She showed them where she set her backpack. She showed them the path she took back. Agent Lewis thanked her and told her she did not need to stay longer. Maya collected her things from the truck and prepared to leave again. As she walked away, Maya noticed something she had missed before. On a tree near the path, there was a small mark carved into the bark. It looked similar to the symbol on the railcar. Not exact, but close. Maya stopped and pointed it out. Agent Rivera studied it closely. He took photos and nodded slowly. He said it could be a trail marker, a sign to guide someone back to the railcar. That thought stayed with Maya long after she left the land again. That night, Maya could not sleep. She sat on the edge of the motel bed and stared at the wall. Her phone lay beside her. She felt trapped between wanting answers and fearing them. Near midnight, her phone rang. It was Agent Lewis. She said they needed to talk. Now. Maya answered and listened as Agent Lewis explained that they found a connection between the seller of the land and an older case linked to one of the names on the papers. The seller was not directly involved, but he knew more than he admitted. He inherited the land from a relative who once worked on the rail line. That relative had a record. Not a public one. A quiet one. Maya closed her eyes. The warning line in the email echoed in her mind. The land has history. Treat it with respect. Agent Lewis said the seller likely suspected something but did not want to look too closely. Selling the land was easier than digging into the past. Maya felt anger rise in her chest. She had poured her life savings into that land. She had trusted the clean papers and calm words. Agent Lewis told her they would handle the seller. Maya did not need to contact him. The next morning, Maya packed her things again. She checked out of the motel and moved to a different one farther from the land. The agents suggested it for safety. Maya agreed without argument. Days passed. The case grew larger. More people became involved. Maya heard bits and pieces during calls and meetings. The railcar was not the only hiding place. It was one of several. The papers helped map a pattern. Maya struggled with guilt. She wondered how long this had gone unnoticed. How many chances there were to stop it earlier. She reminded herself that she did the right thing by calling. Still, the wait stayed. One afternoon, Agent Lewis met Maya at a quiet park. They sat on a bench away from others. The sun was warm. Children played in the distance. Life looked normal. Agent Lewis told Maya that the investigation was reaching a turning point. The information from the railcar helped connect cases that were once separate. People who had waited years for answers might finally get them. Maya listened with tears in her eyes. She did not want praise. She just wanted peace. She asked a question she had avoided for days. Will I ever be able to live on my land? Agent Lewis was honest. She said it might take time. The land could be tied up as evidence. Even when that ended, the memory might never leave. Some people could return to normal. Others could not. Maya nodded. She already felt changed. That evening, Maya received a message from an unknown number. It was short. Just a sentence. You should not have looked. Her heart raced. She showed the message to Agent Lewis right away. The agents traced it quickly. The phone was prepaid. The location was unclear. Still, it confirmed what Maya feared. Someone knew she found the railcar. Someone was watching. Security was increased. Maya stayed indoors. She followed every instruction given to her. The days felt tense, like a storm waiting to break. One night, as Maya looked out the motel window, she saw a familiar dark car parked across the street. It sat there for a long time. Then it drove away. Maya closed the curtain and sat on the bed, breathing slowly. She had wanted land and silence. Instead, she found truth and danger. But she also found strength she did not know she had. And somewhere deep inside, she knew the story was not over yet. Maya did not sleep much after the message. Each time she closed her eyes, her mind replayed the words like a warning sign on a dark road. You should not have looked. It was simple. It was cold. It felt personal, like someone had stood close enough to see her face. In the morning, She met Agent Lewis at the office again. The agents treated the message as serious. They took Maya's phone and copied everything. They asked her to describe the dark car she kept seeing. Maya explained the color, the shape, and where she noticed it. She admitted she could not see the driver. The windows were always too dark. Agent Lewis told her something that was both comforting and frightening. The team believed the person sending the message was not guessing. The message was likely sent by someone connected to the railcar, or someone who learned about Maya through local talk. Either way, it meant Maya mattered to the case. Maya did not like that. She did not want to matter. She wanted to disappear into a quiet life. But this was not a quiet life anymore. For the next week, the agents moved fast. They did not tell Maya everything, but she could feel the speed in their voices and in the way they checked on her. She was asked to move again, this time to a safer place with security. Maya agreed, even though it made her feel like she had done something wrong. In the new place, Maya had time to think, which was not always a gift. She thought about the day she bought the land. She remembered how proud she felt signing the papers. She remembered standing in the forest and imagining a small cabin, a garden, a simple future. Now that future looked like a picture left out in the rain. One afternoon, Agent Cole visited her with updates. He spoke carefully, like every word had a weight. He said the investigation had identified a person who likely used the railcar recently. Not the only person connected to the past, but a person who returned to it. The agents found patterns in phone records and travel records near the area. They also found a connection to that symbol, not as a public sign, but as a private mark used to guide certain people to certain places. Maya listened with her hands wrapped around a warm cup of tea. She felt cold even while holding heat. Agent Cole said they believed the seller's family history mattered. The land had been passed down with stories that were never written in the listing. Stories about the rail line and the rail car. Stories about a time when people used hidden spaces to store things they did not want seen. Maya asked the question she had asked in her own head 100 times. Did the seller know? Agent Cole said the seller likely suspected, but did not understand the full truth. The seller avoided looking deeper because it was easier to sell the land and walk away. Agent Cole said fear can make people choose comfort over responsibility. That answer made Maya angry, but it also made her sad. Maya understood fear. She just wished fear did not spread like this, from one person's silence into another person's life. A few days later, Agent Lewis called Maya and asked her to come in for one final step. Maya felt her stomach tighten. Final steps sounded like endings, but also like risk. At the office, Agent Lewis explained that they wanted Maya to help confirm a timeline. Not by going back to the railcar, but by walking them through her exact movements again using maps and photos. Maya agreed. They sat at a table with a screen showing her land, the rail line, and the railcar position. Maya pointed and explained where she parked, where she walked, and where she stopped. Then Agent Lewis showed her something new. A photo of a small object found near the railcar, hidden in leaves. It was a simple key tag, worn and scratched. It had the same symbol. Maya stared at it. A key tag meant a key. A key meant a lock. A lock meant another place, another container, another layer. Agent Lewis did not give details, but Maya could tell they already had a plan. That night, Maya sat in the quiet and waited. Waiting had become her main job. Waiting for updates. Waiting for safety. Waiting for her own heart to stop jumping at every unexpected sound. She tried to keep her days normal. She ate regular meals. She took short walks. She watched simple shows that did not demand too much emotion. Still, the fear stayed in the corners. 2 mornings later, Agent Lewis called again. Her voice sounded different, like someone finally put down a heavy bag after carrying it for miles. She said the team made an arrest connected to the recent use of the railcar. She did not speak in dramatic lines. She did not celebrate. She just said it clearly and calmly. She said the person did not approach Maya, but the message was connected to someone in that circle. The threat was real, but now they had a name and a path to follow. Maya closed her eyes and breathed out, slow and long. Relief hit her first. Then came a second feeling. A strange emptiness. Like she had spent weeks holding her breath, and now her body did not know what to do with air. Agent Lewis told Maya she would still need to be careful. Cases like this do not close overnight. The past has many doors, and not all of them open at once. But Maya was safer now than she had been. After the call, Maya sat in silence for a long time. She thought she would feel happy, but she did not. She felt tired. She felt older than her age. A week later, Maya was allowed to visit the land again for a short time, with agents. The tape was still there. The flags were still in the ground. The railcar area was now covered and guarded. The forest looked normal again, but Maya did not. She walked along the track line and listened to the wind. She remembered the first day, when she believed the land was a blank page. Now she knew the land was a book with chapters already written, hidden under leaves and rust. Agent Lewis stood beside her and asked if she wanted to keep the land or sell it once it was cleared. Maya did not answer right away. The land was her savings, her hope, her plan. But it was also a reminder of fear, and of how quickly life could shift. Maya told Agent Lewis she needed time. That evening, back in town, Maya sat with her notebook again. She had not written plans in weeks. She opened to a fresh page and wrote a simple list. Find a lawyer. Learn my options. Protect my future. Keep my mind calm. It was not a perfect list. It was not a brave list. It was just a list that helped her feel like she was steering her own life again. Days turned into weeks. The case kept moving. Maya gave statements when asked. She answered calls. She followed instructions. Slowly, the sharp fear softened into something duller, like an old bruise. One late afternoon, Maya drove near the edge of her land and parked on the road without entering. She stepped out and looked at the trees from a distance. The forest stood quiet, as if it did not know the trouble it carried. Maya realized something then. She did not choose this secret. But she chose what to do after finding it. She chose to speak instead of staying silent. She chose responsibility instead of comfort. That choice did not give her peace right away, but it gave her something else. It gave her strength. Maya got back into her truck and started the engine. She did not know where she would end up living in the end. Maybe she would return to the land one day. Maybe she would sell it and start over somewhere else. Either way, she understood now that a fresh start is not just a place. A fresh start is a decision. And Maya was still deciding, step by step, how her story would continue.